Good morning, YouTubers. Frank at Frank's Fine Leather, back again for another exciting day to finish our beautiful wallet that we started. This one here. Get a little bit of better shot of it. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna try to make these videos a little better. I'm working on getting these better. I've also asked for some support and some sponsors, so we'll see how the sponsors go. But in the meantime, we'll do the best with what we have. So these are the pockets, what we had. Cut these down. So now what we're going to do, as I like to do these edges, I don't like to leave these raw here because I think they look a little undone. And I'll probably sand these edges here. Probably try to get everything nice, tidied up here. Okay. So I think first things first, let's move this out of the way here. And I usually start with one section at a time. And we'll get our handy dandy paper over here. We have some paper here that's got a pattern on it already. And we're going to use that to sand on. That way we can pick our sanding up and throw it in the trash can without trying to get the camera over the trash can. So make it a little more pleasurable for you guys. Anyway, so I'm going to grab my sanding block here. I'm going to grab a 220 grit. I think that's going to be small enough. The 220. And we're just going to kind of lightly hit these edges. And just lightly hit these edges like this. Hit these around here. And come around. Sorry if you hear cars in the background. We got some cars in the neighborhood. They think they're race cars. Some of them are, but there's some that are just trying to sound like a race car so they can be one. So we'll shape these corners here, because when we cut these corners, they were a little underdeveloped. So we just shape these with our sandpaper. So it comes down, just angle. So I think that came out really nice, really nice. I'll get this brushed off here. Give it a little brush. I think that's gonna come out nice. Yeah, really nice and round. Rounded that right off there. Beautiful. Okay. This here, we're gonna this is in real good shape the way we cut it, but we're just gonna give it a little carving, not much. because it's okay. Pardon me there while I take care of that. And then this sanding block. I love these sanding blocks because these things here are so nice. You get a little round piece, you get a flat side. So with the flat side, you know, you can work your flat side. You can work your bottom. You work your curves, you know, like so. Without too much effort, just flip it over. Yeah, it comes out real nice. Give it a little brush. And what we're going to do with these, now that we've got them brushed down, we're basically going to have to sew this part, and this part we're not going to be able to deal with once we get it in place. So we want to definitely make sure that we get this sanded and this sanded and make them looking good. And then after that, I've got some burgundy. Phoebing's oil paint. And I put it in this little bottle here that has a little ball in it. Just shake it up. Sorry for the noise. It's burgundy. That's what's going to fit this. And then you just twist these caps off. And then you get a little tip. I like to take like some mail or something that I just got in like this and just kind of push that down and make sure that we've got a little test piece going on. Make sure we got it's flowing good. These are wonderful because then you can just put the oil paint and everything right where you want it. And I apologize if my internal I want to say guts, but yeah, basically my internal guts growling. I just ate breakfast and everything, but I just had to spray my nose and everything, so everything's kind of settling around, so I apologize in advance for that. If you hear a little growl or a whine or something crazy, it's just either something in my head or my So once we put that on, we just take our wood slicker after it dries for maybe 30-45 seconds. Just go right over it. Okay. And it's going to make it nice and slick. Okay. And since we're using a really nice leather, I'm going to show you what we're going to do with the edges. So I want to get in here. And then it gave us a little edge on there. It looks pretty nice. This one here I need to get a little bit more. Need to close that edge up. And sometimes if it's dried out, we'll have to do something else as well. But it's not dried out quite yet, but it's getting there. So it came out pretty nice, don't you think? Yeah, I think it came out very nice. So we'll take that piece. It squeaks against the paper. Huh. Very interesting. And then this piece is going to have the side shown. And so we'll give this a little brush. Since we kind of shook that up already, we won't need to do that again. We'll just do our edges Isn't that nice? Kind of hits those edges, doesn't get it on either side. It wicks on the inside a little bit here, but that's just the way the ball game goes. Most of the time, once you get done working with it, you'll hardly notice it. So, put that burgundy back where it belongs here, over here. And that's nice to have around. And let's sit on there for a second. We'll take our wood slicker. Well, it's still a little bit damp, but not too bad. Yeah, get this edge nice and done here. And close that edge in pretty good. After our edges are closed, we've got to put something on top of them. And so today we're going to put a little bit of this Uniter's edge gloss because it does seal the edges. And I like it because it will put a little semi-gloss on the, shake it up a little bit. I don't have much left. I have another bottle I bought though up there, so we're in good shape. I just like opening it up. We'll have to clean out this cap a little bit. This cap's a little dirty because I pour some of my excess here in the cap. And it'll dry out. And then the next time you use it, you just clean it out. So you just pour a little in the cap. Just a little bit. You don't need a whole lot. A little on our finger here. Just kind of hit that edge. Just kind of touch that edge. Kiss it. Just kind of kiss that edge a little bit. Your finger. And come back and try to get a little more on there, but not too much. Try not to, if we go over the edge, we'll just kind of take our finger. Let's see there, to look nice. Try to get this other edge here. A lot of times it's good to go ahead and get an edge gloss on this. We're only doing these two sides because it's the two sides that we're not going to be able to get to once the wallet's built. They'll be considered inside pieces. And so we'll want to make sure that we get those areas done. nice and glossy. And then I just usually take a bottle or something I have and just put those on there to rest. Go ahead and do the next one. Yeah. Oops. There we go. Take that right off. Okay. I have another jar right here. Sorry about that. Got my t-shirt here. Wipe my hands off on my t-shirt. Knocked over my tan. I have one of these in tan. Knocked it over. So, I'll try to get this off here. Let those dry. While those are drying, we can go ahead and wanna put this back in the bottle. Can't let it stay out too long, because if it starts drying, then we'll kind of be in trouble. So I usually just take a napkin after I put that in there, just kind of go around the edge. And kind of make sure everything's out. Put our bottles in there. Okay, so got these two edges to do. There we go. It looks nice. And we'll put this edge here. Give it a little brush. We'll be done. Set that aside. Give this a little sand here. A lot of times when you're sanding your pieces, you don't have to sand them a lot until they start mushrooming out. See, I didn't start doing that until it started mushrooming out. I just sanded it lightly, just to give it a little soft touch. Didn't have to be anything big. And sometimes you may want to just kind of round these corners off here. Get yourself some practice and get it prepared. Okay, so here we go. So we'll take our burgundy, give it a little shake. It's a little noisy, but it's not too bad. We'll go ahead and do our edge here. Comes out really nice. This one little coat. Now we have edge paint oiled on there, sealed back up, and then those will last for weeks and weeks and weeks in those bottles. And once they're a little bit dry, we can take our wood slicker and just slick it up. Those edges came out pretty good. Give it a little bit. And sometimes if they don't close up right, you just put a little water on there. Just hit them again. There we go. Let's go ahead and get this closed up. Okay. There we go. That one took a little bit more effort, but we got him. So, now these edges here, and these edges here, and these edges here, they're going to get sandwiched on top of your internal piece and your external piece. So we'll do those all together as one unit, and then we'll build them all. Okay, let's go ahead and give this a little brush. Give our pieces a little brush here, knocking them all over the table. Put this in the trash can here. This top piece anyway. since I'm using these pieces, or pieces of paper, I should say, you can see I have different, I have the hard plates, and then I have these, and these are just on paper. And the way I like to do these is, some people try to take these and not only cut their piece out of it, but then they'll use it to it's just a one-time thing. But when you make a hard stencil out of it, then you can reuse them over and over and over and over. I guess that's what I want to say. So there's a cost to the hard stencils, but if you find yourself making the same product over and over and over and over, the stencils may not be a bad idea. But again, you got to draw on them. Whereas what I do with these is I cut a little bit of the edge off just to get rid of some of the paper on the edge. And so you have a piece, it's a thick border about like that all the way around. And then place this on top of your leather and staple it along the edges. And then go ahead and take my knife and cut right on these lines as if I stitched it. Now if you need these holes here to stitch it, you can poke them out too. You can just take an awl and smack it once, and don't smack it too hard because the awl will get stuck. But you can just give a little tap, and you go down each one of those little dudes, unless you have a longer tool to do that. But I don't have one of those. Anyway, I'm not that big of an operation. Not yet. Anyway, back to what we were doing. So, step by step. So now we've got this piece, this piece. So now let's go ahead and get these glued together. So what we want to do is measure these. And the best way to do it, to teach you how to do it, is probably the right way. And I'll get my square. And we'll use a square to square them up. Hold on. Take our square. And in my video, where I'm going to teach you how to build leather, these are some of the tools, and you can get this on like Amazon. But I'll be telling you where I got everything that I have, so that I use on a day-to-day basis. And that'll kind of help you a lot, where you can kind of either do that or you can go on your own and find them. But I like to buy a good mid-grade tool that's going to last a little bit. Not a cheap tool. It's not going to last at all. So we just kind of put that up there, level it up down here, level it on the side, take this away. I can see it's not level down here, so we're going to put this back up here and make sure we get this level on there. Yeah, it looks like it is level. Let's see. Okay. All right, there you go. That's a lot better. Yeah. Then, holding this down, we need to take this all and we need to come up underneath this. We need to mark this dude. Just we don't want to come any further than this line. So we're going to come back a little bit and mark a line right here. About right there on this other leather. See? So it's about right there. So it's a few millimeters off, right? Do the same thing on this side. Lift that up. Come on the inside. Because you don't want to mark here and there, which is your maximum, because you'll be able to see your marks and that won't be nice. So, and then we take our tool here. And I usually leave mine set. For the same width. You just leave it locked in there. And then only change it when I need to. That way, I've got it and it's ready to go at all times. To mark my edges. We need to come all the way up to here. Sometimes I like to put my finger up there. So I know where to stop. These are called wing dividers, by the way. And so now we've got our marks here and here. That's where we're going to glue. Now we're going to take our awl. We're going to rough this up. I think I showed you guys maybe in another video. You can reuse this, or I also have a tool that we can use. I'll use this one coming all the way down and around that corner. And I'll switch to this other tool and show you what it looks like. This tool here, it's got a little rougher on that edge. You just put it down on there and just kind of rough that up. Don't take very long with that one. Now we're all good to go. I'm just going to give that a brush. next. So let's go ahead and go up this line and stop right there. And usually when we got to stop, I'll take my finger and put it there, and then just run this until it hits my finger, and push down with my finger and make sure that it doesn't go under it for any reason. Huh. So there we go. Rough that up. So now we have our glue line. So we'll go ahead and take our adhesive. Right. Let's go ahead and get it out. Let's go ahead. You can use double-sided tape or adhesive. I like using adhesive, and especially on this stuff here. Because this stuff here is pretty slick. That's why we rough it up. So that we get this thing to stick good. Otherwise, the glue won't stick on there very well. Right. Let's go ahead and make sure we got something good going here. Go up to the line, but not over it. That's why on this line here, we stop a little short. You noticed when I measured it, I didn't measure it to the very edge. I came in a little bit because I don't want, in case I get too close to that edge, I don't want you to see the glue. And so you always stop short a little bit. And then that last little bit won't be a big deal, really. Because usually I'll put some on this piece here. And the glue will transfer. Let's go ahead and get this glued up here. Go ahead and get this edge. There we go. Get this out of here. There we go. Make sure we get it all in there. And then we've got to wait a little bit for that to dry. We want that to dry to the touch, where you can touch it and it's just a tiny bit tacky. But not too bad, just a tiny bit. But it'll be mainly dry. And the edges won't be sticky. I was looking at that just a minute ago. And so while we're waiting on that one, you can always be doing something. So we'll do the next one. So we'll try to push these up out of the way here. And so we'll go ahead and put our next one in there. Give him a good square and up. can square away and come back up under here and mark it. Mark this area here. How's that? Hopefully I didn't get my big head in there. We can take our wing dividers and draw lines. And then I'll put the wing dividers up. Since I've got a small work area here, I don't want to get too cluttered. I don't like a cluttered area, to be honest with you. So, let's go ahead and get this marked up here. And yeah, I went a little farther than this on the line, but that's okay because we're going to be stitching that anyway. That's why you got to pay attention to everything. Let me give this a scratch all the way up. Okay. So, give this little brush here. Go ahead and get some glue on here. Just go ahead and glue up to our line. Get this glued up here. It's going to be this area. Hopefully I wasn't off camera for you. Try not to do that. Come around here. Come around here. Okay. There we go. Now, while this this is drying. These two pieces are probably about right. Yeah. They won't hold anything heavier than themselves. That's okay. But they will dry. Now, sometimes you can use your square to assist in putting your glued areas together. But sometimes if you get the glue on the outside, it makes it harder to kind of push into that area. So I usually don't use that, because once you stick that, it's stuck. So what I like to try to do is I just like to put a finger here and a thumb there, kind of put it on the edge of the leather, marry this corner up. Till both sides are flush. And pinch that corner. And make sure my edges are level here. Make sure my edges are level and feel it. Maybe just feel it the best you can. Oh, yeah. And then come same way with the end edges. Come through here. Make sure those are even. And then, you might have to put your fingers in the glue a little bit, but it's not going to stick to your hands. It'll feel a little sticky, but it won't be too bad. And then you can kind of make sure that you and then remember, I have a tool that we can kind of take and put on here and kind of pinch and set that glue on there a little bit better. Yeah. Kind of pinches that in there. You get these on Amazon too. How I found them, I just went on Amazon one night and I put in there flat pliers or something, and went through the pictures until I saw these, because I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know what they were called. So I'm going to just take our t-shirt and buff this up a little, just a little bit, just to take any glue off of there, and go ahead and wrap our fingers in it. And then go ahead and clean that edge really a little bit. We don't want to leave behind little pieces of t-shirt, but I'm going to get that glue off of there and off of here. Take that sticky off there while it's While that's drying, just make sure we've got all the glue off the edges, front side, back side. Got a little on the table there. Get that off. Okay. All right. Oh, sip of coffee here. How we doing on time? We're almost at an hour. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get this glued up. This little piece had a little too much glue on there. Let's go ahead and get him glued up. What I like to do again is find you a corner, put your finger and forethumb there and kind of guide that in there. Get that set in there real good. Bring that edge up on this side. And this bottom piece, just go ahead and get it evened up. And sometimes you may need to kind of bend that down a little bit to kind of get that to fit perfect. You want to get it to fit as perfect as possible, because one little mistake here will compound your mistakes all the way through. So you want to make sure that you try to minimize any mistakes as you're building. But if you've practiced a few of those and some safety rules, you'll be okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get that all pinched together. What I used to do was lay these down and take my hammer and pow, 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 pow. But sometimes it would leave a little half moon, and that would look terrible to me. You'd hardly see it once it was done, but you could notice it, and I just didn't like it. So I got these, and so now I just squeeze, give them a squeeze, and all the way down. And that just squeezes any of that glue out, squeezes them in place, allows them to stick better. Okay, there we go. So we've got the edge done. We just need to make sure that this edge gets done here. Okay, there we go. Looks pretty good. The next thing to do after this is to, after after these are dry is give them a little fresh sand along the edge. We don't necessarily have to do these edges right now because we're going to be doing those all together when they're stacked up on each other over here on the bigger finalization of the partnership. Okay. Get some glue that's a little bit there, not too bad. Get that off my hands and get that off here. Okay, there we go. So we'll let these dry. So don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, and I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the next version or part. I forget what part it's going to be. It'll be 3 or 4. And hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.